run, 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 run. Hey, 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 hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ACS Universe. I am ACS, and if you're watching this, I'm very glad that you're here to join me for my very first interview. And what better way to commemorate my very first interview than will be to talk to the man behind Echosynthetic, James Mitchell himself. James, what's going on, man?
Doing good, doing good. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. James is pretty much at the cutting edge of synth-based music coverage anywhere. So he's growing really fast. And first off, I want to represent our shirts real quick. Square Wave, big shout out to them. So I'm gonna start right at the top. So how did you come up with the name Echosynthetic?
It's a pretty funny story, actually. I knew I wanted to have the word synth in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I got it down to echosynthetic and echosynthesis. And I was like, one of my wife was like, okay, which one is better? She was like, echosynthetic sounds stupid. She said, it sounds like clothes. You don't want to use that one. Use echosynthesis.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see I obviously did not go with that. And I feel like it was the best choice.
Yeah, it does have a great ring to it. The first time I heard it, when I first seen you put your stuff out there, I was like, that sounds nice, man.
Yeah. I love you, honey.
All right, so what artists pulled you into this genre?
Well, I've really been a fan of electronic music in general since I was like little.
Yeah.
Like Depeche Mode, Nitzer, Erasure, Pet Shop Boys. And then as I grew older, I got into like Nine Inch Nails, a lot of the industrial stuff like Laibach. And then now, like, synthwave has pretty much become like my bread and butter.
Yeah.
So, Time Cop 1983 really pulled me into the genre. And then, Carpenter Brute, Ghost, opened up a door for me to realize that there were all these great new artists out there that were just like right below the surface.
Yeah, they just need to be brought up.
Yes.
Some light shine on them. So what inspired you to create this movement to shine light on your favorite music? Like, what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna take this to another level. I'm gonna put this music out there for everybody to see.
Well, it's like I just said, like I just started discovering all these bands that were out there, and nobody was writing about it. There was no coverage at all.
Yeah.
And once I started, I nailed an interview with Ghost, pretty much right out of the gate, which really opened a lot of doors for me because he's a pretty major player, and it offered me the opportunity to talk to a lot of other artists.
Yeah.
And I realized that there wasn't a voice out there for a lot of these musicians, and I wanted to get this great music out there.
Yeah.
To more people.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, you've been showing me your progress over time, and it's pretty impressive. So when did you decide that you were going to invest a lot of time into creating a beacon, a place where fans of this music can go to find anything synth that they were looking for?
Initially, it was like a hobby. Like I needed to do something. I had written for other blogs. I'd done my own things, music, movie.
Yeah, I remember.
So I'd spread myself very thin by covering so many different things. And as the website really started taking off, and as the Synth fam over on Twitter really started embracing, I realized that it had become a lot bigger than I'd initially thought it ever would become.
Yeah, bigger than the other stuff you were doing.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Like almost immediately. A perfect example is on my previous blog I posted a review about Duran Duran's Rio album.
Yeah, I remember that.
16 people looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
I reposted it on my Echosynthetic Facebook and Twitter pages, and not only did Duran Duran quote it and share it, it's on their press page.
Yeah.
Thousands of people saw it. And it just really showed how big of a difference it made by focusing in on a specific genre, corridor of music that really...
Yeah.
And honestly, and something like that really helps shine a light on all these other artists as well. Because as I get somebody coming to the site for a huge name like that, they're also seeing...
the rest of the stuff that you...
Yes.
Yeah. I get you. So, I seen you post this a little while ago. So tell me about the Summer of Synth.
It's actually a hashtag that Ethereal Delusions, aka John Thompson, created, and it really has been embraced by the synthwave community completely.
Yeah.
It's been a really big focus this summer, and it's almost like everybody's trying to outdo themselves, like the best albums or EPs. Because honestly, every week somebody's doing something that's outdone the previous.
Okay.
And not to be outshined by anybody, Ethereal Delusions just released an EP with Kilo So, aka the Laser Panther, called Day and Night. It just came out on Time Slave Recordings, and it is hot.
Say it's hot.
Yeah, so he created the hashtag. He backed it up.
He did. Okay. So I just recently learned that you got like a few new writers to join you in promoting, behind the Echosynthetic shield. So tell me about those two new guys you got.
Yeah, Tristan is a friend of mine from Sweden. We met through just a shared love of mostly synth pop music.
Yeah.
Mesh, Depeche Mode, Iris, and we just struck up a fast friendship. And then over Christmas through the month of December, every single day, he was posting things about his favorite bands. And the writing was so well done. The bands involved were getting involved in the post and like, hey, this is really great.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you need to be writing for me. And I finally convinced him to come on board. The other writer's Chris Frain, and he's from the band Pattern Language.
Oh yeah.
And we're like old souls that somehow knew each other before. We've got a lot of like common interests in, especially in the old, the beginning roots of electronic music, and a love of just old, terrible but awesome movies.
I think we all have some terrible but awesome movies that we love.
Yes, we do.
So you're growing really fast. As I've said, like I've seen you've always showed me that your progression as far as followers on Twitter and social media and things of that nature. So like, how are you handling this pace? Because it seems like it's only been like 6 months and it's just exploded.
It's been a learning curve. I was not initially prepared for the amount of time that it was going to consume.
Yeah.
I work a full-time job on top of working on the website, and I work easy another 40 plus on the website. But I feel like it deserves it. I've got so many artists that are trying to get out there, and especially this summer, so many things are coming out. Like I can't, if I take a single day and not cover something, I'm behind. Yeah, yeah. So adding the two new writers has very much helped because it does give me a day off every once in a while. But for the most part, I've missed one day since I started the site. not posting something.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
just illness.
Yes.
We know about it. So how would you describe electronic music to someone who is like never heard of it, or they're not into it that much? So how would you like try to bring them in to let them know how awesome the music is?
It's really tricky because electronic music has so many subgenres. The biggest thing is that if it's keyboard based, for the most part, I'm gonna cover it.
Yeah.
There are very few exceptions. So it really is a genre that has something for everyone.
Yeah.
Because whether you like things dark and brooding or heavy, or transported to another place, like with an ethereal type sound, you're gonna find it in electronic music.
Yeah.
There's something literally there for everybody.
Okay. So that sounds about right. All right. So are synthwave, synth pop, and electronic music the same thing? Like, do they sum each other up, or is there a difference between each other? And
It's really yes and no.
okay.
Synthwave really kicked in the early '80s with bands like previously mentioned Depeche Mode, Erasure, Ultravox. You had like tons of great bands that were starting this synth-based movement with their music, whereas the '70s had been very guitar-driven.
Okay.
And synthwave is the artists that are tapping into that nostalgia of that electronic music of the '80s. So in that sense, yes, electronically they're the same, but you've got artists like Indighost who didn't experience the '80s, but have tapped into the feel and the sound of that decade, and that's something that only synthwave can give you.
Yeah.
And look, Chris Frayne, his pattern language project, he is doing his stuff sounds like the early '80s, sound. There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of artists to create different styles of music that really all fall under that same umbrella.
Okay. So that for somebody like me too, who I like some of the music, but I'm not really deep into it like you are, and that gives like a lot of clarity as far as which was the purpose of So what is your favorite artist and song in electronic music?
My favorite artist of all time ever is Depeche Mode.
Okay.
My favorite song is Enjoy the Silence, which is arguably one of their biggest hits, but there's just something about it that resonates like to my core. But ironically, my favorite album of theirs is Black Celebration, which is, that song's not on that album.
Yeah.
But they're also one of those bands that you could ask 50 different people what their favorite song was, and you're going to get 50 different answers.
Yeah.
So
Still the same band though. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But they were a huge inspiration for pretty much everything behind Echosynthetic in general.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard some of the music. I have. So what have you been up to lately, as far as any shows you've been to lately? And
well, we just had a huge show recently. Vampire Stepdad
I watched it.
doing a show with Twerp, and I was able to live stream the whole show for the Synth fam out there. And it was a great opportunity to share that synthwave experience with people around the world. There were people in England, there were people in France, there were people watching it. They can't come to Atlanta to see the show.
Yeah.
And it showed how big the audience is out there. I mean, it's it hit.
It is.
It's tons of people watched it that couldn't make it. So that was really cool. I was glad to be a part of that, and he's been awesome and a huge help, just as a mentor in general.
And also promoting your stuff. But so you mentioned to me a few weeks ago after that show about the Echosynthetic Fest. So what's going on with that?
It was actually something that Chris, a friend, and I talked about a little bit, and I've talked to Gregorio Franco, and we're thinking about getting with the early steps are started getting a show here in Atlanta. And bringing some synthwave acts to the area and holding the first ever Echosynthetic Fest.
That I will be in attendance.
And really kind of showcasing some of the talent that we have in this area.
Yeah.
We have a lot. Between Frisky Monkey, who is a great synth pop outfit. We've got Vampire Stepdad.
Yep.
We've got Gregorio Franco. We've got Ian Deaton, who's an excellent synth punk artist who does amazing things. We've got a lot of talents here, and I really want to showcase that and share it with the world.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure.
I appreciate you.
Anything else you want your followers out there to know?
I really couldn't do it without you. I'm in awe daily of how supportive and amazing the synth fam out there is, and it really drives me on a daily basis to do what I do. So I couldn't do it without you. I appreciate it.
All right, there you go. The man behind Echosynthetic, James Mitchell himself. If you like this interview, hey, share it, like it, follow, subscribe if you haven't. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at 2279ACS. James, where can they find you at?
At Echosynthetic.
So go search it. James, it's been a pleasure, man. ACS Universe, out.
Run, 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 run. Hey, hey.